knowing the right thing and doing it means living in integrity. That means that the outside of us matches, synchronizes, harmonizes, works with the inside of us. Okay? When the outside of us is saying, yeah, I'm going to do that, the inside of us is saying, yeah, I'm going to do that. And that integrity also means when the outside of me says, no, I'm not doing that, the inside also is synchronized and says, no, we're not doing that. But the problem is we say yes when we mean no, and we say no when we really, really want to be saying yes to life, being open to things. I was listening to another Unity minister, I forget what day it was in the week, online, my phone. And that minister said, no blocks everything up. It dams everything up. It closes the door. And yes opens everything up. Okay, we say yes to life. And you know, I began to take issue with that idea because sometimes saying no is what we need to be doing. Sometimes saying no is God's will for us, the best for us. The difficulty is in knowing when we truly want to be saying yes and we truly want to be saying no. And for that, we kind of have to stop. We kind of have to turn within, get in touch with that voice in us that knows the best for us. We call that Christ essence within us. So there are times in our lives when it's important that we do pull back from activity. I have a friend, and Garnett, she emailed me to let me know that she was off Facebook and social media. And I think she still is right now, but she popped back on for just a little time there, I think for a couple of messages, and then bloop, she was gone again. Now, I don't really stay in touch with Facebook and social media, but my nieces, instead of sending me their pictures, they put them on Facebook. So I need to get on there to get their pictures. You know, sometimes I wish it was in the old days when they would just send them to me, put them on a disk, you know, or send them email, then I could just click, 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 and put them in my file, okay? I don't even know how to get the pictures off of Facebook. You don't either? Okay. Is it possible?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Maybe we can meet up for a training session, okay, and I can get all those pictures off of there. So I'm glad to hear that. All things are possible, right? With the Christ. So this will be very good. But when I do get on Facebook, then I'm amazed because then I realize that I've missed opportunities to share prayers with people, to get in touch with their needs and to lend my support to them. And then I feel kind of badly about that, okay? Because I had been saying no to Facebook. But on the other hand, I'm really not interested in playing Candy Crush and some of those other games on there, okay? And I get invitations all the time. Now, these things come and pop up on my regular email, and I delete them. Okay? I hope none of you are watching this, okay? Don't get your feelings hurt, okay? It's just, you know, I have so much time and so many things to do, but I love you, okay? Here is a definition of integrity. Webster's dictionary says that integrity is being firm. It is an adherence to a code, especially something that's moral or an artistic value. The second interpretation is an unimpaired condition, soundness. And the third definition is the quality or the state of being complete, undivided, completeness. And this third definition is what I'm going to be speaking about in the message today. The quality or state of being undivided, complete, completeness. How do we live an undivided life, recognizing our spiritual completion at the center of our being? And we don't really have to do anything for this because spiritually we are complete. That presence of God indwells us. And we know that because Jesus located exactly where God lives in Luke 17:21 when he said, the kingdom of God is within. So we know exactly where God is. Now, God is also in the universe. But what's particularly important for us is that we have that connection because that presence is also within us and in every form of life. God is even in this lectern, I think. The atoms and molecules here because it is made out of the substance of God. Oh, you know, actually I'm going to treat this a little bit better now that I realize that. Take up the sticky tape and, okay? Because the molecules and substance of God is in this lectern. And this is why everything is holy. There's a song called Holy Now, Everything is Holy Now. And I think it's David Naumont who sings that. It's a beautiful song. And it is so true that everything is holy because everything in this world is made of the substance of God. Everything. Even that person who gets on your nerves, even my cat who continues to break into the cabinet where the cat food is, chews holes in all the bags, knocks the cans all off the turnstile in there, okay? Jumps the fence and roams the neighborhood. Now, you don't know, my backyard is like Fort Knox. I've got wiring all up. I've got webbing around to keep him from jumping straight up on top. Whatever it is, he finds a way to be free. So you kind of got to have to admire that spirit, okay? Nicholas goes out, he roams the perimeter of the yard, looking up at spaces and openings through which he might escape. And you know, we kind of have to do that in our lives as well. Sometimes we can feel so overwhelmed and overburdened that what we need to do is go out and look for the spaces through which we can escape and take a break. So thank you, Nicholas, for that lesson. Another definition of integrity is owning all of who we are and living in alignment, that is, in agreement with our deepest truths, our grandest desires, and our most expansive vision. And again, that still small voice within us knows what is right for us. Getting back in touch with our inner GPS system to live an integrity-guided life means we can stop looking in the outside and to others for validation. It means that we can stop looking to others for guidance. It means that we can stop looking for love from others. It's great to have it, but we realize that we have this within already because that presence of God is love. That presence of God does provide guidance. That presence of God in us does validate us. So we aspire to be in integrity with what we believe, but there are some times when we mess up. We are, after all, spiritual beings expressing through a human experience. And our humanness does provide lots of opportunities for us to be challenged and to grow. Now, we have a lot of help from other people in our lives who do this as well. Given the real, yes, you should bless them. Next time, say thank you. Given the real definition of integrity, we realize that, you know, it's not always easy to live in integrity because we love people. We care about people, okay? When someone says, I need you to do this, would you do this for me, okay? You know, they know how to get us, okay? And you know, I need a break here, okay? Well, okay, just this time, okay? But this is what's happening with me, okay? I'm doing this and I'm pulling back, okay? So maybe you help out this time, but you let them know what's happening with you, okay? So they don't think that you don't love them anymore, okay? You love them, but you also have to love that Christ self in you. And when you're taking care of yourself, loving yourself, being compassionate to yourself, you have more to give others. You have greater love and compassion and forgiveness to share with others, because you are allowing yourself to be healed. Kelly Costco, who is the CEO of the Ford Institute, and this was founded by Debbie Ford some years ago, the late Debbie Ford. She was a spiritual teacher and a writer, and she did a lot of work and wrote a lot of books on the shadow process. And the shadow is that aspect of ourselves that we don't want to acknowledge. We're not comfortable with that aspect of ourselves, so it becomes kind of a shadow place. We want to sweep it under the rug. We have a tendency to jump hot, or have a temper that kind of, we don't want to see that tendency in ourselves. So it becomes part of the shadow self. And Debbie did a lot of work with methods and sharing tools and contemplations, allowing people to get in touch with that shadow self so it can be released and healed. Well, Kelly Costco writes that integrity isn't something that we decide to do. It isn't some place that we get to. She said, it's not a badge or a title that we wear. Defining and living our integrity, it isn't really about achieving any kind of goal, getting rewards, or expecting some kinds of rewards. Ultimately, she says, integrity is not defined by a state of doing. Integrity is a state of being. It's not a result of a destination, but it's a way of life. And in her book, and that book is called, let's see, what is that? The Integrity Advantage. It's an excellent book. In that book, she writes about integrity snatchers. That's what she calls them. Things like shame and fear and playing the victim role. These things snatch our sense of integrity. Because when we feel shame, now, what is the difference between shame and guilt? Brene Brown wrote that when you feel shame, it's about you. Now, guilt says, I made a mistake. But shame says, I am a mistake. And it keeps us from seeing the qualities that are buried in us, the good qualities that are buried within us. And it keeps us separate from other people as well. Shame keeps us from seeing that we are already whole and well. We don't believe that we deserve amazing things, and we don't believe that we can do amazing things when we are suffering from shame. And shame comes a lot from messages that we have accepted growing up. When I was singing at different places, I have a lot of people who came up and said, oh, I wish I could sing. And I said, but you can sing. And they'd say, no, I can't, okay? I had a teacher back in school who wanted me to sing solo. You know what that is. Solo, nobody else can hear you. And they lived their lives because they loved music. And they never tried, never took lessons or anything. And I said, but you have a beautiful speaking voice. You really should consider taking some lessons and doing this because you would love it. But they are too locked in to that experience that happened years and years ago. And that's kind of what happens, okay? Experiences that hurt us years ago get locked into the subconscious level of mind. There is a passage that I printed in your program where Jesus is talking about seeds and planting seeds. Well, shame, guilt, and some of the other negative emotions, these are like seeds that we plant or we allow to be planted in our mind, in our consciousness. And oftentimes we're not really aware of it. I have a friend who does a lot of negative self-talk, and I'm always saying, trying to catch her and let her be aware that what she just said. And sometimes it's irritating to her, so I don't do it all the time. But sometimes it's hard for me to stand because I don't want her to feel like I agree that she's this horrible person. I don't. So it's difficult for me when she's beating herself down. I want to say, that's not true of you, okay? You are created in the image and likeness of God. The Christ indwells you. You can't be that way. Now, in this life as a human being, it's kind of like a costume ball. We put on costumes, we play parts, and we connect with people in these parts or in these roles, okay? But this isn't who we are. It's something that we put on in order to experience some growth opportunity. And whenever we're ready, when the lesson is learned, we can take that off. We can go to the closet of life and pull out another outfit, something that fits us better. Fear. We can live in a state of fear. Some people do. They are afraid that someone might discover their faults. Someone might discover that they are unlovable. They're not good enough. Well, this isn't true. The presence of divine love indwells them. Now, granted, we're not always acting in a way that encourages other people to be loving and charitable toward us. But again, we are acting. That true self within us, Christ's self in us, is love. Playing the victim. That's when we're thinking, oh, everything's always happening to me. Life is against me. And we give our power away to people and to situations. We give our power to experience joy in life. In John 10:10, the Christ speaking through Jesus said, I am come that you might have life and have it abundantly. Not just any old life, okay? Have abundant life. And so, why aren't we having it? Well, I think that the blockage is probably not on God's end. So, there may be things that we need to take a look at in our prayer time. We can ask for guidance. Okay? We can be open to what it is that we need to release so that we can let that experience happen, so that we can get in touch with who we truly are and the blessings that await us. I couldn't resist. We're talking about guidance. A woman called her veterinarian, and she was beside herself. She was panicking. She said, and she was speaking to, not to the vet, but the receptionist. And she said, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? My dog ate an entire bag of unpopped popcorn. And the receptionist, who was very cool and calm and collected, said, well, if it was me, I wouldn't let him out in the sun. I didn't write it. You know about that kind of thing, too. No, you probably don't, okay? Because they love your... But, you know, I thought it was kind of funny.
I think it's funny.
Ooh, cool. Jesus knew these things about our human nature, and he was always challenging the self-loathing that the people around him had. He told them, hey, your faith has made you whole. Get up from there. Sorry. In John 9, the story of the man born, the paralyzed guy, laying at the pool of Bethesda. I think we had it this morning. Was that in the Daily Word reading? Okay. Yeah, You can just imagine Jesus and his buds walking down, okay? And they entered Jerusalem and they came upon, here's the pool, the sheep gate here. That's what they call the pool Bethesda. And someone must have told him that this guy, he's been laying around this pool for 38 years. 38 years. Now, they didn't live that long back then. You know, they didn't have the medical science that we have today here. So 38 years, that was a long, this guy was old in those standards. But 38 years, he lay on the pallet. He must have had friends who brought him there in the morning, and they went off to work and left him there. The thing is that the pool, they believed that the pool was stirred up by an angel at a certain time of the day. And whoever got in that water, right after that water was troubled, they were healed. So everybody was hanging around there, waiting for the opportunity to jump in there after the waters were troubled. And Jesus comes upon this man, and of course, this guy he knows, been in this condition for 38 years. As Jesus knows, because he was a great psychologist, when we've been in a situation for a long time, sometimes we get discouraged and we don't want to fight anymore. We give up. We surrender. We put out the white flag. We stop trying to better ourselves. We stop trying to free ourselves from negative experiences, and we just survive. And so Jesus knew that, and that's why he said, do you want to be healed? You know, just tell me straight. Do you want to be healed? I'm sure he's saying, well, if you're okay like you are, you know, I'll go on to the next person. And the man didn't say yes, exactly. He said, well, every time I'm trying to get in the water, somebody gets in there before me, which was an indication that he wanted to be healed. Plus, he was laying there for 38 years. So Jesus, recognizing that, said, well, okay, hey, rise, take you up your bed and get out of here. Not exactly. He said, walk. Meant the same thing, skedaddle, be on your way, be on in your life. Continue your life from this point on. And Jesus said things like, you are the light of the world. He spoke about a city on a hill, and no one, and that city is on a hill, and it can't be hid, and that we are to let the light that's in us shine like that city on a hill. Nobody, he said, lights a candle and puts it under a basket, but they put it on a pole so that light can warm other people as well. And that's what we're supposed to do, let our light shine. Do this, dear ones. Let your light shine. Find a way to let your light shine. And Jesus gives a key for knowing what is right and beginning the process of doing it. And this key, he said, is follow me. And Jesus lets us know how we can follow. By abiding in him, abiding in this Christ presence, spending time alone in this presence. Now we know throughout the New Testament here that Jesus was always leaving the crowds and he was going up the mountainside alone to pray, to get in touch, to be refueled spiritually, taking a break from the chaos and the masses of people who were coming to him to be healed, coming to him with their questions. And he was taking this time for himself to be refueled. But the thing is that he didn't stay up there. It had to have been wonderful communing with God on that mountainside. And I imagine that it may have been difficult to say, okay, I'm going to leave this now, and I'm going to come down the mountain, and I'm going to re-enter all the chaos of the world. And I'm going to do that because I'm going to allow God to move through me and bless others through me. I am choosing to be a channel. And so he came down and he began his teaching, and he began his healing, working his wonders in life. And that's a lesson for us too. We do need to go apart, but remember, we can't stay apart. We are a part of this world, and we are intended to share the light that God has placed in us, the love that God has placed in us with our world. That is the right thing to do. And when we are ready, we can always do that. It's okay to take a break, but get back in that ring. Okay? We learn and we grow, and we provide a learning experience for others in our world. Thank you. God bless. And let's prepare now for a meditation. I invite you to lay anything in your hand aside. Sit back. Just let the chair hold you up. You might like to close your eyes and let this be a symbol, a signal that you are turning attention within, letting go of your attachment to things around you, sights, sounds. Take several deep breaths. Breathe that relaxation in. Let that fresh air move through your body, relaxing cells, muscles, nerves in your body. Breathe it in, let it move through you, and breathe tension, worry out. And we'll take a moment to get in touch with who we are spiritually. We are expressions of God. Jesus said we are the light of the world. We are the salt of the earth. And he meant what he said. Take a moment to see yourself, imagine yourself, see this light in you right now. Know that this inner light is healing you. This inner light is refreshing and renewing you. This inner light is empowering you and strengthening you. In those areas where you have felt weakness or fear or discouragement, know that this light and the love of God are within you. And it is bringing about your healing in mind, in body, in spirit. Accept this healing right now. Breathe it in. Jesus said, if we abide in his word and let that word abide in us, whatever we ask, it will be done for us. And so we accept this healing right now on whatever level it is where we need this healing. God knows. Divine love knows. Wisdom and guidance know. We just accept it by saying yes. Silently, we affirm, I say yes. I am open and receptive, and I receive all that I need. It flows through me and it moves out before me, making my way straight, clearing my path. And even as we know this for ourselves, let's know it for others, for our loved ones, for our friends, for those who challenge us to grow, for our community members here at Unity. The light and love of God fill you and bring healing to you in whatever area you need that healing. And we see ourselves being this channel of blessing for others. And we are so grateful for this awareness and experience. And so it is. Amen.